Hello, my name is Steve Tonas. I'm a Vice President of Engineering and Product Management in the EBusiness Suite Product Development Organization. I'm here today to talk to you about EBusiness Suite Order Management and Warehouse Management, give you an update on those products, those product areas, and also cover the roadmap in terms of where we're going, what we'll be doing moving forward in those product areas. In the process of doing this, I'll also cover some of the broader EBusiness Suite agenda items, strategy items, and also some adjacent products in the EBusiness Suite supply chain area. Here's our program agenda. We'll do an overview. We'll look at some of the new innovative features of EBusiness Suite. We'll cover 12.2, recently released. We'll talk about the roadmap, and then we'll cover briefly upgrading, what you should consider in terms of upgrading to 12.1 or 12.2 and building your overall EBusiness Suite roadmap. EBusiness Suite is part of Applications Unlimited, and what we mean to say by that is EBusiness Suite has a clear path forward, new releases coming out all the time. Similar to PeopleSoft, Siebel, all the Applications Unlimited product lines, EBusiness Suite continues to evolve, continues to innovate, continues to move forward. We'll now cover some of the new products that have been introduced in the past year, starting with Endeca, and focus in on some of the supply chain-oriented areas around Endeca extensions, such as order management, warehouse management, inventory, and so on. So let's get into this. The EBusiness Suite extensions for Endeca were released about a year ago, have about a year of sales underneath our belts in this area. And really, it's about the quest for information. So many of our customers have been pumping data into EBusiness Suite for years now, and really they're looking for better, more efficient, more innovative ways to get that data back out of EBusiness Suite. Whether you're an order fulfillment manager, a warehouse manager, or several of any other roles you might have within an organization, you want to see more of the data coming out of EBusiness Suite, the rich data content at your fingertips. And that's really the promise of Oracle Endeca on top of EBusiness Suite, transforming your business from a task-oriented business to an information-driven organization. So imagine, if you will, if this is the first screen a user would see when logging into EBusiness Suite. Traditionally, users see a task-oriented screen or a screen where they start to enter a transaction or do a query in a very fixed, structured way. But imagine that this is the screen with graphs, charts, metrics, and so forth. This is the first screen that users would see when logging into EBusiness Suite. And what are some of the highlights of these Endeca UIs? Well, they have a metrics bar, so you can look at some of the top metrics, some of the top key indicators that you might be interested within your organization. Here we're looking at an enterprise asset management example where you have work order count, the total cost, schedule compliance, and so forth. You have a tag cloud, so a very modern way of bringing out the relevant and the most critical information. You have, of course, graphs, charts, other key ways of visualizing the data. And then finally, a very extensive text search capability, such that you can start to enter a text search and the system, Endeca, will guide you to what you might be looking for. So as I start to enter BAT for battery, I might be looking for battery in one of several different contexts. Endeca will actually help me, guide me to find the battery, the instance of battery that I'm looking for and where I'm looking for that. And this concept of guided navigation is a hallmark of the Endeca product. So again, to be able to help the user filter down the records and filter down the data that they want to look at. And as you're filtering down that data, as we see in this example, all the graphs, the charts, the metric bar, and the tag cloud also get filtered down. Ultimately, you might come down to a set of rows that you want to look at or process or do something with. And once you get to that set of rows, in this case, EAM work orders, you can seamlessly transition from Endeca, the Endeca user interface, into EBusiness Suite. And here's the example of this. If I click on one of these rows here, I go into a transactional page of EBusiness Suite. So that seamless transition from Endeca to EBusiness Suite, making Endeca just look like part of EBusiness Suite, an inherent, integral part of EBusiness Suite. So the tagline we use here is you get to see more with Endeca and act faster. See more, act faster. Now, from a technical perspective, we've taken care of the transition of data from eBusiness Suite into the Endeca data store. We built all the extraction transformation layer such that you just install and immediately start pulling data out of eBusiness Suite into an Endeca data domain. And from there, it's the Endeca data domains that then power the Endeca user interface. We've also taken care of the UI integration, as we saw in the previous slides. So from a UI perspective, Endeca is deeply embedded within eBusiness Suite. For the user, it looks like one single UI experience. And we've taken care of the security, such that if you have organization-based security in eBusiness Suite, order management, say, you get that same security within Endeca. So all the security, UI, seamless integration. Today we have available 17 Endeca extensions across ERP, supply chain, asset lifecycle management, service, and HCM, with more to come. So let's highlight a few of these that are relevant today for our purposes here. We have an Endeca extension for order management, such that you can look at orders that might be stuck, orders that are not meeting the timelines you've set for them, that are not meeting their schedule compliance, orders that need attention can be found and dealt with within the Endeca for order management. So again, meeting revenue goals, reducing fulfillment delays, and also a nice return screen so you can analyze your returns and see if there's any trends there that are worth paying more attention to. We have Endeca extensions for inventory, so giving full visibility to inventory management, being able to find parts, components, alternates that you might need, again, to fulfill critical orders. Being able to control your product design, new product design by, again, being able to mix and match inventory items and giving you, again, that full visibility of what's going on within your inventory organization. Endeca for enterprise asset management. This is the demo that the screenshots that we looked at earlier. So schedule compliance, asset, being able to reduce maintenance costs on your assets by, again, giving you that 360-degree view of your asset within Endeca. Being able to increase asset utilization by, again, dictating, looking at your preventive maintenance schedules and how they're performing, and giving you really performance metrics around enterprise asset management that's critical for running a very efficient operation. And install base. Install base is one area where, again, within eBusiness Suite, users and customers have been pumping data into install base for years. They have a very rich set of data, and Endeca just allows them to unlock that wealth of information that's found within the install base. So now you can answer questions such as, simple questions such as, which customers own my products? Where have I sold the most product? What regions? What geographies? Down to what cities, for example? But also more critical questions such as, if I have a new product coming out and I want to run a cross-sell or upsell campaign, I can do analysis such as, show me customers that have bought product A but have not bought product B. Or show me all customers that have just bought product B because they're good targets for my new product that's rolling out. So you can build cross-sell and upsell campaigns and sell through lists using the install base Endeca extensions. So I want to spend a little bit more time in the area of warehouse management. We've recently released the Endeca extensions for warehouse management, all around real-time operations dashboards for fulfillment planning and tracking. Okay, we're going to look at the three key areas of the warehouse management extensions for Endeca. And the vision here is that you would be a warehouse manager. A warehouse manager would have a tablet type of device and be running the track fulfillment Endeca extension on that device as they moved around the warehouse, getting real-time data feeds into the UI such that they could track the number of orders that they might have, what orders are back ordered, and of course the total value is something they'd want to look at. And of course you could see this in both the metrics bar, but also in the different graphs and charts and so forth. So being able to get this real-time visibility, this real-time tracking from day to day, minute to minute operations is critical for a warehouse manager. Now, Alternative UIs or other UIs within Endeca also are space utilization. So are you optimally utilizing the space within your warehouse? Are there moves you can make in the warehouse based on the locations of items, the velocity, both in terms of count and in terms of quantity, and then being able to very quickly focus in on an item and use the charts down here to see where your locators are, where that item is located. And if it's too spread out across your warehouse, you have your people then flying around the warehouse and doing unoptimal things. So you want to consolidate in those cases, consolidate down to just one locator for a single item perhaps. So that's just one quick example of how space utilization could be used. And then further labor utilization, from looking at items and where they're placed in the warehouse to how your labor is being utilized in the warehouse. And is it being utilized on outbound, on inbound, on cycle counting and other types of activities. But the key thing here is that you can look at this at a high level, but then you can get down to a user, whether you use the tag cloud here or whether you drill down using the graphs and charts. You can get down to that granular level and look at individual users and look at what they're doing, how they're doing it, and are they doing it in an optimal way. And just to call out that we have a YouTube channel that has a lot of these Endeca extensions covered there in terms of video demonstrations. If you go to Oracle EBS Demos, if you search that within YouTube, you get to the channel and you can view some of the demonstrations we have there for these Endeca extensions: warehouse management, enterprise asset management, and order management. Okay, so that covers Endeca. Now moving on to eBusiness Suite 12.2. eBusiness Suite 12.2 and 12.2.3 is the current shipping release. We released this back in December of 2013. Now, the hallmark technology feature in 12.2 is online patching. The ability to patch the system, apply single patches or full family RUP type patches, patch the system with the users fully operational, fully functional on the system. That's the key technology feature that's been added in eBusiness Suite 12.2. The way this works is we leverage the latest middleware, the 11G middleware. We leverage the 11G R2 database, and specifically the edition-based redefinition feature. And what you're basically doing at the highest of levels is patching one copy of the code while the users are still running a second copy of the code. So there's a run copy of the code, that's where the users are, while you as an administrator are patching the patch edition of the code. And then there's a short cutover period to flip the users from their current run edition to the fully patched edition. In a nutshell, that's how online patching works. So there's 5 phases to online patching. And again, this is all taken care of by our utilities, our online patching utilities. You don't have to really know that there's 5 phases or worries about these 5 phases. But the critical thing is that while you're applying patches, users are fully online and operational. So you could be applying patches all week long, doing your maintenance, full family RUP type patches, all the way down to a single patch. All patches get applied through online patching in 12.2. Users are fully operational. And then there's this cutover phase where it's a short downtime to bounce all the servers, all the mid-tier servers, and again, take the users from the run edition to the fully patched edition. So do your patching all week and do the cutover on Sunday, for example. A very viable scenario now with 12.2. But that's not all we did. In 12.2, we also added a number of new functional features, and I'll go through some of these, especially focused in on order management and warehouse management. So in order management, we added the feature of selling subscription services. So not only can you sell subscription services, you can also sell standard service contracts or warranties. So up to 12.2, you could only sell extended warranties that were part of the product bill of material through order management. But now you could sell subscription-based services. And in our ever-growing subscription-based economy, this is huge in terms of being able to bring together hard goods, software, on-premise software, let's say, as well as cloud-based services, or any service that has a periodic billing model, including publications, books, and magazines, and so forth. So imagine here at Oracle, for example, we have the example of we want to sell on one order a piece of Sun hardware, on-premise eBusiness Suite software, and one of our cloud offerings. And now we can do that all within one order, configured by the configurator, with the flexible billing options for those subscription-based services. So for subscription-based services, I could set up billing, say, the first time through order management, all subsequent billing cycles through subscription contracts. So a very powerful feature, bringing together the power of order management and the power of subscription contracts. Within order management, we've also added user-defined attributes now. So we had a lot of complaints within order management that 30 descriptive flex fields were just not enough. Customers ran out of them regularly. So now we have user-defined attributes in 12.2, which give the customer and the user the ability to add an unlimited number of these user-defined fields. We've also integrated order management with advanced approvals management, enhanced the approvals management capability, so that you can do things like, the key thing really here is parallel approvals. So whereas before, if you needed an order approved by the sales department, the engineering department, and the legal department, you had to do that one at a time in serial sequence. Now you can do all those approvals in parallel. So a great time saving and a much better way to do approvals for order management in 12.2. We've done a better job of integrating projects with field service. So now with field service, you have the option of taking the costs and the revenue of field service and rolling that into a project. Lots of customers want to run some of their service operations through projects for the strong accounting capabilities within projects. Now you can do that by virtue of us integrating those two products in 12.2. In the area of fulfillment, warehouse management, 12.2 really brought this multi-unit, dual unit of measure and catch weight capability up to another level. Really enhanced that, improved that, and handled all the advanced cases of that. And that's from order management all the way through invoicing, all the way through logistics, fulfillment, and invoicing. And it's probably best to go through an example to tell you exactly what I'm talking about here. So what is advanced catch weight within the eBusiness Suite fulfillment now? So it's really the food, the beverage industry, the cheese industry, and in many cases the metals industry as well. But imagine if a customer is ordering one box of deli meat. That could be 16 pounds or that can be 19 pounds. And they're going to get billed based on the pounds. So this is where the catch weight comes into effect, because we want to allocate one box but then really do the catch weight at the time that we actually do the shipping. So that's going to be 19 pounds. And the costing is based on pounds, and then the invoicing is based on pounds. So this seamless transition from one unit of measure to another unit of measure is really what advanced catch weight is all about. And it seems simple at a high level, but it's actually quite complex when you start to get into all the details. So a really nice feature added in 12.2 fulfillment area. Also, sticking with warehouse management, we've added a lot of new pages in terms of our personalization framework for mobile. So for our mobile supply chain applications, set of applications, the users can now personalize 13 new pages. And this is critical in mobile because you have limited screen real estate to work with. So you want to be able to have the utmost flexibility in terms of what you have on the page, how you relabel fields, what you take off the pages. So this really gives you a lot more flexibility in being able to personalize the experience of your mobile users in the warehouse. Okay, so that gives you a flavor of what we've done over the past year in terms of Endeca, in terms of 12.2 and the online patching, and some of the new features in 12.2 in order management and in warehouse management and a few other areas as well. So now we'll start to talk about the strategy moving forward, the roadmap for the next couple years. Okay, in terms of investment areas, we plan to invest in user experience. So you'll be hearing a lot of eBusiness Suite, new things coming out in terms of user experience, improving that, really focused in on that area. But on top of that, we'll also be adding functional advancements. So and I'll talk about some of the the plans there, as well as a continued focus on areas such as online patching to continue to improve and lower the cost of ownership. In the area of user experience innovation, there's really 4 key components to this. One is the Endeca extensions that we already talked about. And the Endeca extensions are great. It's a great start in terms of really improving the user experience, bringing a consumer model from a user experience perspective, a consumer model within eBusiness Suite. But it's not enough. And so we've taken a few more courses of action in terms of providing mobile applications, both smartphone as well as tablet applications. And then also going into the core OA framework application and simplifying, improving the usability of OA framework. And then lastly, converting many of our forms applications into OA framework. Not all of them, it's a long process, but we're converting forms into OA framework, and I'll talk about what we're doing in 12.2.4. Okay, first off, we talked about Endeca already. There's 17 extensions today. There's more coming. We're working on Endeca v5, version 5. This is being shot in June of 2014, so by the time you're actually seeing this, Endeca v5 might actually be out in the market. But that's something we're actively working on, and within that, there's going to be 5 new extensions across quality. There's going to be a service contract extension, a procurement extension, as well as a human resources extension coming for Endeca. And now I want to spend a little time talking about our mobile applications, because that's just the way we've surrounded eBusiness Suite with Endeca-based applications. We're also going to be surrounding eBusiness Suite with our mobile applications. So there are a couple available today. Today, we have in the market Mobile Field Service. It's a disconnected store and forward application targeted at field service technicians. Runs on both iOS, Apple iOS, as well as Google Android. And again, it's store and forward application such that the technicians can work offline and periodically synchronize with the enterprise application. Okay, so that's available today. We also have that's for the smartphone. We also have it as well for the tablet or the iPad. Works both, again, on iOS-based tablets as well as Android-based tablets. Okay, but this is part of a broader effort going on around eBusiness Suite. Again, many different areas being covered: order management, procurement, manufacturing, projects, enterprise asset management, warehouse management, many areas being covered. Again, surrounding eBusiness Suite with mobile applications, similar to how we surrounded it with Endeca-based applications. So I'm going to actually walk you through a few additional screenshots of our up-and-coming enterprise asset management mobile application. All right, so here's your logging in, and the first page you're going to see is the list of your work orders or a list of the operations you need to pay attention to. So these are assigned to you as an enterprise, as a maintenance worker. From there, you can go in and charge time against the work order, issue parts against the work order, view the details, and really complete it right from this screen. So again, charging time and doing the operation completion in some of these screenshots here. You also have an asset view, so you can view from a work order operations perspective, but also then view from an asset perspective. These are the assets that are assigned to you, or the assets that you typically work on. And from here you can create work orders, create operations, create work requests, and do a lot of your transaction work based on an asset view rather than a work order view. Okay, so here's just taking some of the asset actions, some of the screenshots around that, which includes even meter readings as well. And then finally, you see the map view here. So the ability to tightly integrate the device services. So if you're looking at an asset, you can very quickly see the map view of that asset as well, where it is on the map, and perhaps get driving directions if that's relevant. If you need driving directions, very quickly do that. Again, our mobile applications are being built with Oracle's latest tech stack, Mobile Application Framework, and that gives us the ability to build it once, to deploy it on both iOS and Android, gives us that platform independence, but also provides integration services, device integration services with the camera, with the maps, and with other services such as the contacts on your device. So we talked about Endeca, we talked about mobile. Now we'll focus in on some of the distinct OA framework-based usability enhancements that we're putting in, many of these coming in our 12.2.4 release. Again, this is being taped in June 2014, so by the time you're viewing this, 12.2.4 may be live GA in the market. Okay, so in 12.2.4, this will be the new homepage experience. This will be one of the options for a new homepage experience with your favorites as icons rather than as a static list. So nice colors, icons, touch-friendly, all those great things that make it more tablet-friendly. Again, sticking on this theme of more tablet-friendly, we're working on full gesture support within our HTML-based applications, our OA framework applications. So drag and drop using your finger, flipping for scrolling through a train navigation, a tick mark for actions like OK, approve, or submit, right? We're also putting a lot of work around tables. Again, better interactions with tables, making our tables within eBusiness Suite more Excel-like. And then also gesture support, tap and hold actions for tables, gesture support for tables as well. And then just improved global header, improved colors and fonts, more consistent. We're trying to make eBusiness Suite more consistent with PeopleSoft, with J.D. Edwards, and with our cloud-based offerings as well. Okay, so that's the improvements that are going into the core OA framework. And at the same time, to be able to take advantage of all those improvements, we're also converting more and more of our user interfaces from the old forms technology to OA framework technology. And in 12.2.4, perhaps the most ambitious project we have going really is the conversion of order management from forms into HTML, into OA framework, giving it a new, refreshed look, HTML web UI, user configurable, much more modern look and feel, and tablet friendly for that matter. So this is a big project, but I want to make the point that we're not removing the form. The form will still be there, can still be accessed, thousands of users, too many users to remove it. This will be an alternative UI, another option for a UI for order management. So let me just give you some early screenshots of this user interface. Here's a search, being able to do save searches and other types of searches on top of order management and bring up a list of orders. From here I can take action using modal windows, so heavy use of modal windows so that you keep the user in context. You don't have to go to another page. You're doing things in a pop-up window so that you keep your context in the back main window. Here you're just releasing a hold on an order. Multi-action, multi-select orders and release holds in this case, multi-action activity here. So you can click on several orders, go into a modal window and release the holds on all of them. Again, focused on the productivity of users and focused on providing a much nicer user experience for order management in 12.2.4. And here's just a full view of an order in the new UI. Okay, so Endeca, mobile, OA framework improvements, transitioning forms to OA framework, all make up the UI strategy for eBusiness Suite. But that's not all. That's a big part of what we're doing in the next 2-3 years, but we're also doing a number of functional improvements and continuing to add functionality, customer-driven functionality into eBusiness Suite. And I'll highlight a couple of our roadmap items here. So in 12.2.4, we plan to introduce a new product called Yard Management. And Yard Management can be thought of as sitting in between transportation management and warehouse management. So as warehouse management is managing the warehouse, transportation management is managing the long-haul trucking and the fleet. Yard management is intended to manage the yard that would sit outside of those warehouses. So probably better to look here where we can see some of the key functions that's going to be handled by yard management, the ability to do check-in and check-out of trucks and trailers, the ability to move, schedule dock appointments, nice dock appointment user interface, the ability to move those trucks around within the yard, into their dock appointments and out of their dock appointments, and then tracking all the inventory within the trucks, within the trailers all the time. Also with a nice mobile interface for the yard jockeys, for those people that work in the yard to keep mobile, to keep out in the yard but continue to do their work. So a nice new product coming out as part of 12.2.4. We're also working on a number of other initiatives around warehouse management, put-away task dispatching. So this is system-initiated task dispatch and assignment from a put-away perspective. So we do a really nice job of outbound, but this is now the inbound, and being then able to interleave the put-away tasks with other warehouse tasks such as cycle counting or outbound, right? And sequence, prioritize, and plan for both inbound and outbound work. And again, just trying to get to a much more optimal warehouse experience. And then labor management. We added labor reporting in 12.0. We added the wave planning capability in 12.1. In a future release, we plan to add a full labor management, labor planning module so that you can plan labor. You can view how labor is doing from a time sequence. Perhaps you need more workers in the holiday seasons, fewer in the summer months. So being able to plan the labor out in that way is something we're looking to add in the future. In enterprise asset management, we, from an asset maintenance perspective, we do a good job in fixed plant equipment. That was sort of where the product was born, was the genesis of the product. We're doing a better job in the area of handling mobile assets and a better job in real estate. The one area that we might be a little bit deficient is linear assets, roads, pipelines, highways, transmission lines. And so we've actually in 12.2.4 added a whole new module in enterprise asset management, not a product, but just a module there that's for linear assets, especially targeted to companies that are managing pipelines, that are maintaining roads, and maintaining transmission lines. So the ability to visualize assets on a map, Esri maps perhaps, and integrate between Esri, GIS system, and EAM, that's really what linear asset management is all about. And it's probably best shown through a couple of examples. For example, I can visualize now a road on a map, but integrated within enterprise asset management, so I could pick a segment on a road or a point on a road and create a work order right from this user interface. Or simply view all the work orders, all the open work orders for a particular segment of a road or part of a pipeline. Okay? So we don't have time to cover all our future plans here today, but across all the areas of eBusiness Suite, supply chain, order management, warehouse management, we have a very rich roadmap for all different areas, and here we're just covering some of the key elements of that roadmap for warehouse management and order management and enterprise asset management. In terms of how this looks in a timeline, our current shipping release is 12.2.3. We are working on 12.2.4, and we're currently planning out our 12.2.5 release. I'll point out here, it's depicted in this slide, that you can, that the Endeca extensions and our mobile applications will work both against 12.2 as well as 12.1. So we're making again, the mobile apps and all the Endeca extensions backward compatible to 12.1. They work against 12.2 and 12.1. So that's key to know as you plan your upgrade to EBS 12.1 or to 12.2. Now, one of the major things that's driving the upgrades to 12.1 and 12.2 is not only all the great new features, all the great new usability improvements, but also the support timelines. As a customer, you're running out of time on 11i10, and you're running out of time on 12.0. So we've extended some of the support timelines for 12.1 and for 12.2 to give you, again, more time to do that upgrade. But you really need to be doing that upgrade at this time. And we're keeping, for the time being, 12.1 as a viable upgrade option. 12.2 has really just been released in December. It has the online patching feature, which is very a large feature, a big thing to digest for administrators, system administrators. So if you're in the middle of a 12.1 upgrade, you may want to stick on that path. I mean, each case is different, but it's a viable path for the time being. So choose 12.2. Here we just give some guidelines about when you might choose 12.2 and when you might choose 12.1. Again, both being viable options going forward. So when you're building your roadmap, a couple things to consider, and I'm going to use this kind of wheel to help visualize how you might view a roadmap for eBusiness Suite. So the first thing is, if you're on 11i10, the first thing you need to do is just upgrade. You really need to get off that release. It's in precarious mode in terms of support, and it's just going to get worse going forward. So it's a 10-year-old release. Please do the upgrade to 12.2, 12.1 or 12.2. From there, you might consider some of the new features around 12.1 or 12.2, so uptake some of those features. So again, add more value to your eBusiness Suite implementation. From there, you might consider also some of the Endeca extensions, so bringing new usability improvements and new improvements to your users through Endeca. And then from there, you might consider adjacent products, so products that, such as field service, such as supplier lifecycle management, products that we've built over the years that you haven't implemented, again, adding more value to your eBusiness Suite implementation. And then from there, also other products from Oracle or from other corporations, cloud-based products and so forth that complement your eBusiness Suite and coexist with your eBusiness Suite solution. So we see a lot of our customers looking at their eBusiness Suite solution in this manner and moving it forward in this in the manner I just outlined. And now, finally, I just want to highlight some of the additional resources to help with an upgrade. Here are some of them. The Upgrade Best Practices white paper is really mandatory reading in terms of doing your upgrade and planning your upgrade. A lot of great tips and suggestions and things to consider as you're doing the upgrade from 11i to 12. Also, the eBusiness Suite 12.2 Information Center is a great place to just keep abreast of what's going on with eBusiness Suite. So as I mentioned earlier, by the time you're viewing this, we might have Endeca v5 out in the market. We might have release 12.2.4. So you can find out that information from the 12.2 Information Center. And then some other assets here in terms of being able to assist with your upgrade, including consulting services and our own managed private cloud services. So in closing, we covered a lot of ground here today. eBusiness Suite has 17 existing Endeca extensions, many more to come. We've also added a number of other products that I didn't go over here today. So again, some of those sites that I pointed you to in terms of My Oracle support, the 12.2 Center for eBusiness Suite have a lot more information. We talked about 12.2, the innovative new feature of online patching and some of the new capabilities. And then we talked about the roadmap in terms of it being much to do about user interface improvement, but also functional improvements, new products like yard management, new modules like linear asset management, and new capabilities around mobile, and the conversion of order management into HTML and HTML UI. So I thank you for your time in viewing this and your consideration. Until we meet again.